It's a question lots of people ask you, Mr. President. Did you leave it too late? Should you have withdrawn earlier, given someone else a bigger chance?
I don't think it would have mattered.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about former President Joe Biden's very first interview ever since he has left office. Now, a lot of what he said in this interview shows a certain level of accountability. He understands who he is, and he understands who the Democratic Party is, and he understands who Trump is. Now, a lot of his colleagues, people that will go on TV and defend him, told straight up lies, talking about, oh, no, I didn't see any decline. He was perfectly fine. It's like, really? Listen, we're all human beings, and we can't live forever. This guy's, 82, 83 years old, and he looks every bit of his age. He sounds every bit of his age. When he was younger, he had a lot more vim and vigor. He was a lot sharper. He wasn't my cup of tea when it comes to politics, but at least he was mentally still there. Like Bernie Sanders, older than Joe Biden, still mentally there. The politics are real bad, terrible, awful, but at least he's still there mentally. Joe Biden, however, wasn't really there. And whether he dropped out or not wasn't going to make a big difference. And he has acknowledged that. Now, before I get into that video, let's go back a little bit and look at some of his defenders talking about, oh, he sounded fine. It's all good. There's no problem. Let's start with Miss Jasmine Crockett. Then we're going to go to Jen Psaki. Then we're going to go to what Joe Biden said. And of course, this video, the other video, and everything else will be in the description box if you want to see it and hear it without my commentary. If you're on IG, Facebook, etc., visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Listen, I'm going to tell you this. People tried to talk about the mental acuity of Joe Biden. And as someone who was able to interact with him, I never questioned his mental acuity. Listen, I'm going to say.
Okay, so why would you never question it? Do you not care to question it? Was it not really a big topic? You're just trying to ignore it? Or are you sitting here lying? I think that you're lying. Now, here is Jen Psaki.
I left in May of 2022, just for the facts here. And I have seen Biden once since then, when I took my daughter to the holiday party this last December after he had lost. And so I hadn't seen him in person during that period of time. I never saw that person, not a single time. And I was in the Oval Office every day that was on that debate stage. I'm not a doctor. Aging happens quite quickly. Were things that people saw during that period of time that were similar to that or would have been in a category of that? I don't know, possibly, right? And all these books are going to tell us.
Like, do you think that were they actively covering it up? Were they sort of in denial, or was that just a bad debate? Like, what is your read on that?
That's a great question.
Well, this is what I mean about cover up is a very loaded term, I think.
Well, it means you knew that it was really bad and you're pretending otherwise versus you're deluding yourself, which I think is what people do a lot.
Well,
come on, man. That's a really basic question. She knew exactly what you meant, but she was playing the political game. Oh, I don't really know what you mean by that. Define that. That's what she's trying to do. What my man right here is saying is a pretty straightforward question. Let's see what her answer is.
I understand, but I still think it's like cover up is often like a crime, right? We're talking when people use that term.
They say it's worse than the crime.
People use that term as they relate to Watergate or the covering up of not sharing public information about
you being dramatic. It doesn't have to be all that. It's not like we're trying to get you locked up. We're just saying you saw that this guy was declining and you acted like you didn't see it because you were trying to defend your guy. Why would you go on stage? Why would you go to a podium and say, yes, I'm the White House press secretary, I'm Jen Psaki, and my president is declining? Why would you say that? You covered it up.
A war.
Yeah, and I'm not accusing anybody of a crime.
I understand, but other people have used that term, and I think it's a bit of a dangerous term.
No, it's not a dangerous term. It's an accurate term. It is an accurate term. Now, let's hear straight from Joe Biden himself. Okay, this is going to be the clip before he gets into whether or not he dropped out too late or whatever the case may be. Check it out.
You've talked about a great threat to democracy. Do you really believe that there is a greater threat now to democracy than at any time since the Second World War?
Yes, I do. Because, look at the number of European leaders.
What's up with his voice? Am I tripping, or is his voice like a little bit higher? You getting into Michael Jackson territory?
And European countries are wondering, well, what do I do now? I mean, what's the best route for me to take? Can I rely on the United States? Are they going to be there?
All right. So talking about the Europeans, are we going to be able to rely upon the United States? Rely or depend? And at a certain point, it needs to be a mutually beneficial relationship. It just can't be the Europeans take from us. It's got to be a little bit of give and take. It can't just be we do everything and they do nothing.
I can hear your passion. I can hear your anxiety that the world is changing the way it has. And for a long time you believed, you said, I'm the man who can stop Donald Trump. And you did once. And in the end you withdrew from that election campaign at the last minute. It's a question lots of people ask you, Mr. President. Did you leave it too late? Should you have withdrawn earlier?
Great question. Let's see what the answer is. And I apologize for the interruption, but I'm not trying to get a copyright. Let's hear the answer from former President Joe Biden.
Giving someone else a bigger chance?
I don't think it would have mattered. We left at a time when we had a good candidate. She was fully funded. And what happened was, I had become what we had set out to do. No one thought we could do.
Now, I just want to pause for a minute. Do you see this man's face? I mean, good grief. If I'm Joe Biden, I'm not doing any more interviews. It's like, look, y'all got the 4 years out of me. I did my job. Y'all wanted me to come in and quote unquote save democracy. Okay, well, look, I did my 4-year bid and now I'm 1,000 years old. I'm tired. Let me just relax in the latter part of my life.
And become so successful on our agenda, it was hard to say, no, I'm going to stop now. I meant what I said when I started.
So you think that you're too successful? So your success in your 4-year term, which he said it, it's not me. He said there was a bunch of success in this 4-year term. So it's like, well, why would I stop? I'm going to just keep on going, even though I'm 1,000 years old. And I know that life has a limit. I'm going to keep on going. Is that what I heard? Y'all let me know what you think about that.
That I think I'm prepared to hand this to the next generation. It's a transition government. But things move so quickly that it made it difficult to walk away, and it was a hard decision.
This is really sad, for real. Like all politics aside, all jokes aside, this is really sad to see this man like this. I mean, there's a few things that I don't like. People that abuse children and people that abuse elderly. Those two right there, you got to be the scum of the earth, man, for real. They abuse this elderly man to get their agenda met. I don't respect that.
But
regrets, though?
No, I think it was the right decision. I think that it was just a difficult decision.
All right, so there we go. That's Joe Biden saying, you know what, we're so successful during our 4 years, it's hard to stop, and everything moving so fast. I understand what he's saying. It's like, okay, we're in the presidency. I think I'm doing a good job. Everybody telling me I'm doing a good job. So why would I say, all right, now it's time to step down? Well, the reality is, like I said, life has a limit, and you're at the end of it. Let's just be all the way real. You're at the end of it. You can't live forever, and that goes for everyone on God's green earth. So what the Democratic Party should have done is recognize that. They should have acknowledged his decline. And if they're going to have him run for the 4 years, there needs to be an exit plan. But what they did, which is what they always do, is kick the can down the road. I'll do with it. But hey, we'll cross that bridge once we get to it. All right, they got to the bridge. Now, how are we going to cross it? We can't cross it with this guy. So now, 100 days out, we're going to replace him with Kamala. And they hated Kamala. Oh, my goodness. They hated Kamala so much. When I say they, I mean the Democratic Party, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, Republicans, regular normie Democrats at their rallies. They hated her a lot. And that was going to be something that we saw from the beginning, because when she ran the first time in 2020, they hated her then. She came in dead last behind Amy Klobuchar, shaking like Muhammad Ali on stage. That didn't matter. Pete Buttigieg, a man married to another man with quote unquote adopted babies. They love them more than they love Kamala. They hated her then. They hated her now. So all of what happened was an inevitable result. But as I close, I want to say this. I agree with Joe Biden when he said it wasn't going to matter who ran, whether it be him or whether it be Kamala. They were both going to lose. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your opinion about Joe Biden's very first interview ever since leaving office? Did you watch the entire thing over on BBC? Did you just see a couple of clips? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I think Joe Biden, I'm glad that Joe Biden's not the president. I'm glad he's not here. I'm glad we don't have him or Kamala. We'd be really in trouble if they were in office, because it wouldn't be them running it. It'd be the permanent government, the deep state, the people. It'd be them. We'd be in a lot of trouble. So I'm glad that he's not there. I'm glad she's not there. And I'm glad he's able to acknowledge a little bit that it wasn't really going to matter who ran, him or Kamala. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.